So as you all know, I unfortunately did not get into the Honkai Star Rail beta, and for that reason alone, I refuse to spend a dime on Hoya versus Honkai Star Rail game. Well, they had it coming, right? So I would just want to address how free-to-play friendly is Honkai Star Rail overall. Now, we will draw a lot of comparisons to other games like Genshin, Honkai Impact, and other various turn-based games, Epic 7, Art of Gear, Summoner's War, so on and so forth. The gacha is pretty much all relatively the same. Low rates and a chance to get something, at pity. So first of all, we need to talk about the actual currency of Honkai Star Rail. So there's three currencies. The very first one is Stellar Jade. This is going to be the Primo Gem equivalent gem source, sky stones, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be the currency you use to actually, do the gacha. You use this to trade for passes to do gacha. You use this for maybe you want to buy more resin on your account daily. You can use that, Stellar Jades for that. And this is going to be the currency you accumulate over time. Next up, we have Pass, and Pass is going to be the standard banner pool. So if you play Genshin Impact, this is going to be your Acquaint Fate, your standard banner pool. If you played other games, this is going to be pretty much a regular pool. There's if it only really compares to Genshin because Genshin kind of made additional currencies for different banners. Maybe Epic 7, it's like Covenant Summon, I guess. And then Moonlight, Mystic summons are different. But that's a very bad comparison. And then next up, we have Special Passes. Special Passes are going to be the limited summons you get. So limited meaning these are the summons you use for the banners that have a time duration, rate up banners. So for instance, Seal Banner to summon Seal, and Kafka even, any other limited character going forward, you're going to need Special Passes to be able to roll on that banner. Just like Genshin Impact, you would want to roll for Zao or Hu Tao. You would need Intertwined Fates to roll on their banners. And just like other games, you can convert your Stellar Jades or Primo Gems to passes or special passes depending on what banner you want to summon on. So as I said before, Honkai Star Rail has 3 banners and additional banner if you are a new player. So we'll get into the additional banner right now. That banner is the beginner or newbie banner, as I call it, because there is a pity at 50 summons into the banner. Your first 10 pull only costs 8 summons to do a 10 pull, and then the rest of the summons after that are going to be 10. So you pretty much save a couple pulls, but it's nothing too special. However, there is a 50 pity, meaning you're able to get a character with pretty much half the summons it would take for a regular banner. And this banner is going to feature all of the standard banner 5 stars, no limiteds. Standard banner 5 stars are going to be on the newbie banner. So Bronya, Himiko, Clara, and so on and so forth. And this is a one-time deal only, so once you do actually use your pity, then the banner will go away. Next up, we have the standard banner or standard warp. They call banners warps in this game. I apologize, I didn't say that in the beginning of the video. Anyways, the standard banner is going to feature characters like Bronya, Himiko, Jeopard, Clara, and so on and so forth. And there is light cones, and light cones are going to be weapons like from Genshin Impact 5-star weapons. You have a specific weapon for each character, and the character that equips that weapon that is featured for them gets added effects alongside its passive. If you equip that weapon or a light cone to a character that it doesn't really necessarily belong to, then you don't get its added effects. However, those light cones, weapons equivalents, 5-star weapons, are going to be in the standard warp as well. Just like Genshin, I don't know if it alternates from weapon to character, depending on, how many times you've pitied a weapon or character, vice versa. I have no idea. We'll have to wait and see. So the actual pity for this banner, through deductive reasoning, because I've been unable to find a source for this information, unfortunately, is crazy, but just like Genshin Impact, we can assume that due to the success of Genshin Impact and its gacha system, it's not unreasonable to actually conclude that Honkai Star Rail will probably have something close to being similar as the gacha system in Genshin Impact. So the pity for Genshin Impact was 90 summons, hard pity on the character banners, and we could safely assume that the actual character banner in Honkai Star Rail standard banner is probably going to have 90 summons as well to hit pity. It makes sense because it takes 50 summons to, get pity on the newbie banner. I would imagine that that's kind of, Next up, we have the light code banner, and this banner is going to feature all of the 5-star weapons light codes, and each character has their own 5-star character, of course, has their own light cone that you can summon on this banner. And this banner is going to alternate whenever there is a limited character on the raid up. So for instance, Seal being on the character raid up banner is going to have her light cone whenever she is available to summon. Just like in Genshin Impact, you have Hu Tao with Staff of Homa, and you can summon for Staff of Homa whenever Hu Tao's banner comes around. I hope that makes sense. And the pity for this is, unfortunately, I've been unable to find information surrounding the actual pity number, but just like Genshin Impact, due to the success of that game, we can safely assume that it's probably going to be around the same thing. I want to say 80 summons, and that's for hard pity. Now, will there be soft pity in Honkai Star Rail? That's an interesting question. Unfortunately, I don't know. I want to say yes because I think it's one of the best features of Genshin Impact because you really save on a lot of summons. But to be safe here, I don't want to assume that it is in Honkai Star Rail currently, especially when we don't have the information for that just yet. Next up, we have the limited character banner. This is going to be the version exclusive banner. So for 1.0, of course, we will have Seal's banner and possibly Kafka, depending on the lineups for the version 1.0 of Honkai Star Rail. And this will feature characters that have a limited time of being able to be summoned, and once that duration does go away for the banners, then the character will be, gone indefinitely until the banner comes back around. And this is going to be a reoccurring thing. Will there be 2 limited banners at once, just like Genshin currently? Not that I know of. Other games also do have, multiple limited banners at one time. Epic 7, Artery Gear, Summoner War doesn't have banners, right? I don't want to say that Honkai Star Rail will never have, dual banners. I assume that they probably will at some point in the future, just not right now. It doesn't make the most sense to have double banners at this point in the game. So we took a deep dive into the actual gacha system for Honkai Star Rail. Now let's talk about the currency for free-to-play gamers, my favorite part. So as of right now of the CBT3, there is some data mined information, so bear with me. Currently, we can get 141 pools worth of stellar jades, and this is going to be a very conservative number. This is definitely subject to change. We are getting a new region. This is going to be the leeway equivalent region from Genshin Impact. That's going to feature some characters based on the origin of, China. And it's safe to assume that there will be more currency from that region. And this number should translate into the actual release of Honkai Star Rail. So expect to have, I would say, 150 plus summons as the game does launch. Next up, as of right now, there is a total of 66 standard banner warps, and these are going to be summons you get from getting the AR levels, just like in Genshin Impact. As you level up your account in the game, you do get standard banner warps. You also get these from completing various tasks in the game, and there is a battle pass and a Welcome Moon, just like Genshin Impact, and you can buy that. That is the same price as it is in Genshin, right? So that gives you more currency overall. I do want to say one thing. I do believe that Honkai Star Rail will give more pulls overall comparative to Genshin Impact. I do believe this game will definitely be more free-to-play friendly. And I also do believe that the actual... you'll have more of a reason to summon for characters in this game. So despite whether or not you want to go for wife over meta, or you want to go for characters that are going to boost your account and power levels, I definitely don't see an issue with going either or. And lastly, let's talk about the reoccurring currency. So as of right now, the 2 in-game game modes we have is Simulator Universe and Forgotten Hall. Forgotten Hall is going to be the spiral best equivalent as in Genshin Impact. And this game mode, you're pretty much going to have the later floors, so like floor 12 through 16 is going to be the floors that you would actually have reset each and every other week. So every 2 weeks, you'll have this mode reset, and then you'll be able to get the gems or the stellar jades on those floors, but you'll have to use the teams, and the teams will, depending on the floor and the details of the floor, may cater towards certain characters, just like in Genshin Impact. You know how that works. And then the Stimulated Universe, this is going to be like Elysian Realm from Honkai Impact, and if you all are familiar with that, of course, game mode, you tackle floors and the floors progressively get harder, and you use power-ups for your team. In this case, there is a team, unlike Honkai Impact, where you would have a solo character, so you would use power-ups for your team, And then as the floors, like I said before, do get harder, you would need to have a more kind of proper lineup in order to tackle the mode. Now, we don't know how hard it's going to be comparative to Elysian Realm, right? Because Elysian Realm and Honkai Impact can get pretty hard for a lot of free-play players. And also, I do want to mention that the Forgotten Hall equivalent of Spiral Abyss from Genshin, we do not know how difficult that's going to be, right? It's safe to assume, though, that it's not going to be feasible for, players to actually clear in the beginning of the game. So expect to tackle it at a certain point in the game when, of course, you do power up your characters and so on and so forth, and power up your relics. So yeah, but this is going to be content that does reset and give you gems upon completion, or stellarjades. So it's very nice, right? It's always good to have currency that you can accumulate over time. So another main source of reoccurring currency is actually going to be the daily missions or daily commissions. So much like in Genshin Impact, you have your commissions you would do each day, you log into the game, right? It's kind of one of the first things you pretty much do. You do any tasks that you have to do for the commissions, and then you turn in the commissions for rewards in the form of stellarjades and other various ascension materials. And then once you finish all of your commissions, you turn them in, and then you get a bonus stellarjade reward and other various materials. And that is usually 50 stellarjades a day. And that is going to be another part of your main source of reoccurring currency for the game. And just like Genshin, I'm sure we will have the live stream codes. We'll probably have codes that they give out each patch. And we'll also probably have maintenance rewards, right? I expect that to be the same in this game. So if you play Genshin, do not worry, don't fear. I really do believe we'll get that as well for our accounts. And with all this in mind, I guess the biggest thing to take away from this video is Honkai Star Rail free-to-play friendly? And to answer that question, we have to take everything into consideration. The gacha, the accumulation currency over time. We have to also take into consideration the actual content itself, the difficulty spike. And not only that, but we have to also keep in mind that 95% of the selling point of Honkai Star Rail seems to be the characters, because that's what Hoyo seems to be advertising every time Honkai Star Rail is brought up. The characters seem to be the main selling point of the game, so with that in mind, is Honkai Star Rail free-to-play friendly? In my opinion, yes. Genshin Impact is free-to-play friendly. They also do have the characters being the main selling point of that game as well, and you're able to pity a character more or less, every other patch. Is that going to be the same for Honkai Star Rail? We'll have to wait and see, but with the newbie banner and the other things to take into consideration, it is a very nice step into the right direction. It's just up to Hoyoverse to, determine whether or not the game will be much more accessible for free-to-play players. Also, one last thing to take into consideration, as games do die, gacha games that is, the game does become more and more generous. Honkai Star Rail seems like it's going to probably have the biggest player base for return-based games, so I really wouldn't expect it to be super free-to-play friendly in that regard. But I expect it to be free-to-play friendly enough just so, you keep playing the game, right? But anyways, that's it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all got something out of this, and let me know how excited you are for Honkai Star Rail. Honestly, I just want to play it right now. So I keep making videos on the game, right? But that's it. Thank you all for watching, and have a nice rest of your day. Peace.